and Guidry goes, let's go look at something that took place 40 years ago. Who cares? Okay, that's political. So I got this down to science, buddy. Yeah.
Yes, you do, Nick. Listen, may I start while you have your science?
Yeah, sure. It's your floor.
Science. So may I start first, Nick, please?
Yeah, it's up to you. I'm watching on the other screen.
Okay, fine. Listen, welcome to the Lawyers Den, IBM TV, International Broadcast Media, to this unique program where we collect some of the best people in their thoughts, their notions, their ideas. And quite frankly, sometimes they agree, they don't agree. But right now, I need, my three-time Florida State chess champion, who now resides in North Carolina. Nick, are you out there?
I'm always out here, Bill. And I got rid of everybody else, so now it's you and me, buddy. The rest of them all got, what do they call it, counters, culture, or whatever you call it, cancel culture. They all got canceled.
That's a different show, Nick.
Oh, really? Okay, so I'm in the wrong show. Okay, I'll see you. Or do we need to bring these people on?
Well, up to you, Nick.
Well, I can introduce them if you want me to.
If you might.
Yeah, because remember, some people that join us new from around the world never heard of these people that are on the Lawyers Den. And so the first person we're going to bring in, person that you've never heard of, for the fortunate ones around the world, never heard of this gentleman. He went to the University of Southern California, received his bachelor's degree in arts and rowing. Then he went on to the Ohio State University, failing out of the football team. He went and got a law degree. Then he went on to New York University. Why? It's still a mystery that if you attend a later Lawyers Den, we will find out because we don't know. Then he went on to teach law school. Those poor souls, and we'll be going over that later on in one of the later programs. And then finally, he settled in Georgia College, where he actually teaches. Let's give a warm welcome to Adam Lamperero. Adam.
Thank you, Nick.
I don't know why. Thank you, you think? Okay, well, anyway. It is what it is. I have to change your introduction all the time. Otherwise, I'll be bored. I don't know about the people listen to it. But anyway, another boring person that we have on the Lawyers Den actually also went to the State University of New York at Buffalo. And after he shuffled off to Buffalo, he got his law degree and decided to make his fortune in the Big Banana, now known as the Big Apple, New York City, the Big Apple. Let's bring in our street fighter, Fernando Lea. Fernando, welcome to the show. I got somebody for you to fight. You can fight Adam.
Everybody? I will.
You can fight Adam. I'll just watch.
Not a problem.
Okay, good. Okay, we got it all handled. And now we need some class to this crassy act. And with that, we had to reach across the pond and go to Lithuania. And this lady hailed from Lithuania and came to the United States of America, receiving her law degree from the University of Denver, went on to receive her master's in law from the University of Denver, then went on to practice in the great state of Florida. Not only the great state of Florida, let's bring a great attorney in. Let's bring in Guidry Stansadai. Guidry, spasiba for being here. Do swidania, or dotsvitska, whatever you say in Russian, but Lithuanian, they speak different. I have no clue what you guys say over there. I've never been there. We'll have to go someday, but we'll do a Lawyers Den over there. By the way, for full disclosure, yes, I am going to Europe. I'm going to Florence for about a month. I got an apartment there.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I'm out of there in August, so don't do anything August and July. I'm out of here now.
No, but Nick, what? no, they're closing down Italy again. I mean,
no, it's not till August and July. I don't really care. By that time, it'll be open. I'm gambling. I'm going to New York, and then after New York, I come back and I go to Italy. Right. Then I'm going to go to Vienna. I'm going to go to Switzerland and hang out Eastern Europe and in Italy. You know, give me something to do. This way, I'll be out of everybody's day at the IBM TV channel. Now, this last person actually defended me in court, because I get sued all the time. I'm a lightning rod for lawsuits. Lawyers don't know that. I wonder why. Anyway, this gentleman also got me admitted before the United States Supreme Court. He received his law degree from BYU and his master's in law from George Washington. He is definitely a counselor to be dealt with, and this is Jeff. Now that we have our team lined up,
Yes.
We have the great analyst. We have to introduce a junior attorney who's the den master, the master of all. And this person also received a law degree from the State University of New York at Buffalo, got admitted before the Washington, D.C. bar, actually works in Washington, D.C. The Tower of Power is Bill President. The Tower of Power. He has arrived. And he's also the den master, so he has to tell what these densters are going to do. Which, by the way, what are we going to do?
Well, no. I want to begin with this because we had one of our erstwhile audience members that wanted to send me to Gitmo, and so I'm like, no.
Oh, you're going to join me in Gitmo. That's not on my vacation schedule, but I can work it in, Bill.
You must be canceled.
It's canceled?
Okay. No. Adam's going to cancel. Adam, do not derail this show just yet. I just wanted to say I'm not in Gitmo, but I do have something like Nick's library. Now, this is what we have tonight. It's going to be a bit of a thing, and it's only because, how do we deal with people getting online and blogging and saying bad things about other people? There's just this other story of another thing that happened that, with cheerleading, just bullying. So what do we do with libel, slander in the age of online comments? Can we ever say no? What are they going to do? Now, opening for that, I'm going to go to Jeff first, and then I'm going to Fernando. I need you two to introduce. Remember, opening lines, not monologues, opening lines. Jeff, Fernando, and then we'll get the party started. Jeff, please.
Well, first of all, I think you have to define the parameters of this situation. Who are we talking about being the actor? If you have a government involved, then you have to respect the First Amendment. If you don't, if it's an employer or somebody else that's merely enacting their own policy, you don't have any state action and you don't have any constitutional protection. So that's the beginning of this. Now, assuming we have a First Amendment problem, then you're going to look at the status of the quote unquote victim. You're going to look at whether that person is a public figure, and there's a heightened level of scrutiny when it is not a public figure. The thinking is that a public figure has the opportunity and access to the media and can respond to, scurrilous charges about themselves, whereas a private citizen doesn't have so much access to the public and can't as easily refute libelous comments. And so you have to have reckless disregard for the truth if it is a public figure. And question as to whether libel and slander passes First Amendment muster. Well, of course, there are cases where libel and slander are allowed to collect damages, and it depends on whether or not it's the constitutional tests.
Okay, no, Jeff. Thank you. Remember opening. Fernando, libel, slander, blogging, online stuff. I know you're going to sue. What are your thoughts, Fernando? Please.
My thoughts are that these cases are plaintiffs' attorneys' unicorns. They're hard to prove. For us to have this discussion, we're going to have to at some point explain to the audience and give them a general definition of what defamation is, which is what leads to the tort of libel, which is written, and slander, which is verbal.
Okay, see that? Nice. Guidry?
Just to add to it, any legal course of action requires harm. So there would be very difficult to indicate the intentional infliction of emotional distress or to that extent. So it also makes it much harder to demonstrate. I think that there should be more dialogue when it comes to, as a community, try to generate what is okay and what is not. Harassment, threats, those things will never be okay. Targeting someone. Therefore, I think that there should be more legislation done towards it. Maybe platforms that operate the possibility where the people can blog or express their views could be ones that could incorporate some kind of changes.
Okay, now I have my young gentleman. Where are you? I see you, my bright star. Let me move you over so I can make you front and center.
Well, let me just, by way of background, to tell the audience, defamation entails publishing a provably false statement about another individual that subjects that individual to ridicule, scorn, and embarrassment in the community, and that causes damages. There's two problems with current defamation law. The first problem is that under Milkovich versus Lorraine Journal Company and Gertz versus Robert Welch, it completely exempts people's opinions from defamation. So you can utter any opinion you want, no matter how damaging, and you cannot be sued for defamation. The second problem is the actual malice standard enunciated in New York Times versus Sullivan and St. Amant versus Thompson. It makes it nearly impossible for public figures or limited purpose public figures to sue for defamation, and that's wrong. And tonight, I'm going to tell you a story about online defamation that occurred
Okay, all right.
to me, and I look forward to having that discussion about why defamation law is too narrow.
No, all right, Adam. We're going to get to a story. Nick,
Does that count?
Nick, are you done playing? Because we're coming to you. And Jeff,
Really?
look, wait. Nick, I'm coming to you. And then Jeff, I'm coming to you right after, because Adam just laid down the gauntlet with court cases. And, I don't have an LLM, so I'm going to let you guys fight. Nick, when you're done playing with the, toys that you have, what do you got?
I try. What I got is a bunch of lawyers who can defend me when I get sued for defamation, slander, libel, and all those other bad things. I'll hire Fernando because he doesn't believe in it anyway, and he can get it all bounced out of court. So
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. So the thing is, when Adam sues me for running a boo machine, the thing is, what'll happen is I'll get Fernando, and the case will be dismissed. And
We're just going to send you via FedEx to Pyongyang. That's all.
But I believe they're really. I believe, like what Fernando says, they're really tough to prosecute in court. So when I hear all the time people go, "Oh, I'm going to sue you for defamation. I'm going to sue you for libel. I'm going to sue you for slander." Good luck. I mean, you're talking about a real tough case to handle. So everybody has this fictitious lawsuit out there, but I would talk about Fernando, who will bring in the realities of motion dismissed, and that's what I say.
Okay, fine, Jeff, and then Fernando. I know what. Just trust me, Jeff, please, because Nick always churns things up. Jeff, please.
Well, what Fernando and Nick both just said is accurate. It's very difficult to make one of these cases stick because Americans believe in free speech, and we think that you ought to be able to criticize people, especially public figures. The example Adam brought up, I think that it's appropriate that a public figure, particularly a political figure, is subjected to a large amount of scrutiny, criticism. We believe in robust public debate on matters of policy and politics. I also think it is worth mentioning when we talk about slander per se. I don't know if anyone in our audience is familiar with a figure named Buck Compton. He was part of the 101st Airborne, great American patriot. He prosecuted Sirhan for the assassination of Robert Kennedy when he was an attorney. He was appointed by Ronald Reagan to the California Court of Appeals, played college baseball with Jackie Robinson. This is the real Forrest Gump. Anyway, he called me up one time and was just fit to be tied. He was an older guy by this time. And by the way, you may have seen someone portraying him in the movie Band of Brothers. But in a different publication, there was a documentary movie about his unit in the war on the History Channel. And it showed him ordering someone to do a battlefield execution of an enemy soldier, which he said was absolutely false. And he said, now that is what we call slander per se, meaning You don't have to show that your reputation was damaged or that you lost any money or anything. If you are accused of a crime by someone falsely, it is slander per se, and you can collect damages for that.
Okay. No.
If it is untrue.
No, yeah, and Jeff, thank you. I mean, and for per se collection of monies, Fernando, and then wait, and then Gadri, you're up next. Fernando.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to finish your jazz test, finger snapping there. What Adam conveniently left out of his explanation is that the statement has to lower the individual's esteem of a reasonable, prudent person due to communication of the false statement. When you're prosecuting these cases and you draft a complaint, you have to show that it is a false statement purporting to be fact, which becomes problem number one. The publication doesn't mean that it has to be written. Publication in this sense means communication to a third person. Now, after that, you have to show that that publication was made negligently or in an intentional manner, which also becomes a problem in these cases. And then there has to be damages which flow from that statement, meaning you got fired, disbarred, you couldn't make any money, whatever the pecuniary loss is or whatever the issue is. That becomes another problem also. There are categories that are per se, which are some of the ones that Jeff did bring up, which is a serious crime, notorious or immoral turpitude. If you say that somebody has an infectious or terrible disease, if you're saying that the person is incompetent in his job, trade, or profession. Also in New York State, there is another one where if you call a straight person a homosexual, that is also slander or liable.
Okay, all right, no.
Hold on, the issue in all of these. Hold on, let me finish.
No, you're putting
the biggest issue in these cases is that a lot of these statements come out as opinion, and if it is an opinion statement, it is neither liable or nor slander.
Yes, okay. I said that.
All right, no, I got Adam. You see, you're on the board. Gadri, you're Gadri, and then Adam. And please, Adam, just wait your turn. Got it, Gadri.
So being Lithuanian, not being American, I can say from everything that I noticed around, Americans are known as very eager, very quick to sue. Meaning that no shirts, I will take it to the court. So when it comes to libel, slander, defamation, we have to have strict standards, because I can already see that it would be as what is happening with civil courts right now. It could be very time-consuming, threatening ball game that would create more stress and that just really complicate the legal system that is already overworked. When it comes to the opinion that Fernando was talking about, that yes, it is known and there is a problematic issue about it, that opinion, as long as someone says, in my opinion, it could not be, or usually would not be considered as defamation or intentional act. However, right now there are also cases that indicate that opinion needs to be taken in a context. For instance, if I say, in my opinion, the person who came to my house, spread some kind of disease, meaning that there are, I'm not sure if that was a very appropriate example, but still you need to take into consideration the context, and you cannot just throw anywhere and protect yourself by saying, in my opinion. So I do think that freedom of speech needs to be protected, and I do not think that the law that we have right now against the defamation, slander, and libel should be more loosened. Maybe a reasonableness standard could be more articulated. However, I do not think that we need to create this slippery slope by really loosening it up.
Okay, great. Now, Adam, I'm going to you, and then Jeff, I'm coming to you, and then Nick, I'm coming to you, but I have a different question when it comes to you. So, Adam, you up, Jeff, you're up, and please, can we smile? Because I think we all need to smile around here.
The problem is that it is so difficult to sue for defamation, and the problem is the absolute view of free speech that Jeff has. Like I said, pure opinion under Gertz and Milkovich is completely protected. And let me tell you, I was the subject of an online blog post in 2013 that viciously attacked my character and my reputation and caused me harm for several years after that. It was vicious and disgusting, but it was pure opinion, so I couldn't sue for defamation. Opinion, not just provably false facts, cause real harm and should be defamatory in some circumstances. The actual malice standard, where you require that you have to show that someone had reckless disregard for the truth or evidence of its falsity before you can sue for defamation as a public figure, is ridiculous, because that makes it nearly impossible. And that's why you see online bloggers and newspapers saying these horrendous and vicious things about people. I don't share Jeff's view of the First Amendment. I don't share Fernando's view that defamation law should be so difficult. I think we should live in a more decent society, and it begins by allowing us to have remedies in civil court for damages for truly vicious speech.
Jeff.
And
Well, no, Jeff, hang on. Adam has one more footnote. And in the college world, footnotes and whatever works on his law review article.
You should not be allowed to go online and say someone is a horrific human being, someone's a cockroach, someone's a pathetic piece of shit. That may be pure opinion, but I can say from firsthand knowledge, Google my name, and you'll find it as link number 1, and it has hurt my reputation severely. And you're telling me I don't have a cause of action? Well, tell that to Jerry Falwell and Hustler. And you know what? Tell that to the court in Gertz and Milkovich when they exempted all of this from. These things stay on the internet forever, and they cause serious harm. And for you to say they're exempt under this absolute view of free speech, Jeff, boggles my mind. I think the founders would be turning in their graves, if not asking you to go to Gitmo.
Jeff.
Well, I've had what I consider to be personally slanderous things said about me on the internet too. The King County Bar Association, when I ran for the Washington Court of Appeals, evaluated me as being not qualified for the post, even though numerous other less partisan organizations had rated me well qualified. For example, the Washington Constitutional Law PAC rated me well qualified to serve on the Court of Appeals. My opponent ran radio ad after radio ad saying that I was a new lawyer and inexperienced. And you know what that means? Well, it's an opinion. I had been practicing law for 12 years. I had more experience than she had when she went on the bench. But she had the right, as part of a campaign, as part of a political discussion, to evaluate my credentials and give her opinion on them, as slanted and biased as that may have been. I didn't like it. I lost that election. I would have loved to go and sue her for maligning me and misrepresenting my credentials. But as a public figure, someone running for office, I also had, at least theoretically, access to the media, and I did go on radio talk shows and things like that and tried to defend myself. Didn't work. But you put something on the internet about someone and it's there forever, and you say that they're unqualified or bad at their job or whatever.
And that's why sometimes the answer to bad speech is not more speech.
But I think the answer to bad speech is more speech. I think that's what the Constitution requires.
In your case, and it wasn't for me either.
I also disagree with Adam. I think opinion is opinion. Now, if people are going to come out and say Buck Compton committed a battlefield execution of an enemy soldier that was in his custody, all right, that is factual. It is either true or it is not true. It can't be someone's opinion that I think he did it. They have to have evidence that he did it, or saying it with reckless disregard for the truth is libel, is slander. One final thought. Monica Lewinsky has been making a lot of noise about this lately, and it's an interesting point. She talks about cyberbullying, which didn't exist when she was in the public eye because the internet was barely getting going. But she talks about how the media maligned her, and her opponent in the whole thing, if you want to call it that, was the President of the United States, someone she had an illicit affair with. And she said, I was taken to pieces by the media and had no way to defend myself.
Right.
And she talks about that in terms of cyberbullying. I think as a normative message, it's a great message. As a constitutional
message, no, fine.
I don't agree with
that. Jeff, you said one final thing. I did not need, an appeal, okay? Because I got other people I got to get to. Now, Nick, This is how we're going to run this. Nick, I need you. I need you, Guidry, and Fernando. But Nick, I want to try a simple, different thing with you. May I, Nick?
Sure, you can do whatever you want. Why would I care?
Well, no. Apparently,
I'm going to I had a nice dinner tonight. I'm going to go to New York. We have a nice dinner at the top of the Marriott Marquis. Then I'm going to hang out in Europe, play golf, play tennis. So what do you want, Bill?
You as a
Top
media
1%.
mogul, you as a media
Well, that's good. You want to come?
No.
We'll get you picked up in one of the private jets. Okay.
All right, Nick. Do I have a chance to ask this question? Or
Sure.
no?
Yeah, you do. Everybody has a chance in life.
No.
Everybody has a chance in life, Bill, including
See
you.
what I mean? See what I mean, Nick?
Go on.
I can't even get to it because I got to get to other people here.
Okay.
But I'm going to say this. Listen, don't you feel an obligation as a media mogul when you have the right to silence? We already did this with Section 230, what your rights are. To shut me up, shut them up, not let Fernando sue. But I mean, listen, Jeff has a legitimate argument. Adam has a legitimate argument. But I mean, you are coming from the publisher side. Now, what responsibility do you have, Nick?
Responsibility for what, Bill?
Publishing bad things.
Publishing bad things?
Yeah, like
you mean are you trying to say should we take Lawyers Den off the air? Is that what?
No.
Okay, right. Bad things. I see.
No. Let me clarify for our audience.
Motion for a more definite statement, counselor.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Man. And that's simply this. Look, they're about to take up in Congress the reevaluation of regulations over Facebook and all the social media.
Yeah.
No. We all know about it. And the question becomes, to what extent do private social media platforms like the one you own have a responsibility to take off the air that which is obviously wrong in the case of Jeff and in the case of Adam? One from Utah, one from Georgia, and you are sitting there in North Carolina in charge.
Well, see, the thing is we don't. Okay, Bill, we don't. Section 230 exempts us. So I can let Adam yammer and Jeff yammer all they want, and they can talk about it. I do feel sorry for Adam, because he's being slandered. I'm going to pull my violins and start going, poor Adam. But the thing is, this goes back to why you want to have media on your side. You don't want to have it against you, and why you should be listening to IBM TV, because we have a whole program on the privacy co-op, how you stamp out those people that Adam alleges has caused him great harm. Because there's different ways that you can destroy these people rather than saying, well, I'm going to go to court. And so I would go to the privacy co-op, and there are ways you can actually just pull them off the air. But the other thing is, hey, look, Bill, he who has the gold makes the rules. Who has the power can move mountains. Okay, Adam's just telling me I have very little power and not much gold. So what can I do about that? Get more gold, get more power, Adam.
No, got it. Guidry, Fernando, please, because I've got two people on this 6-person panel having been savaged. Guidry, your thoughts, please.
So first, I think Adam brings a good point. Putting a face on an issue definitely shows another aspect of it. Yes, a simple small person could be trapped when it comes into the damage that could be done by it. Adam, I actually Googled really quickly you, and one thing that really stood out to me was your long, beautiful hair. So
you have excellent judgment, Guidry. Thank you.
But when it comes to your other question, Bill, talking about Section 230 and certain accountability, responsibility, and even liability of social platforms, I do think that it should be incorporated. First Amendment should not be applied to the private actors. However, I think that there should be some kind of consensus within those platforms on how to moderate certain content, especially the content that could be very damaging. I do believe that there could be a way of keeping the content until there is a way to respond, or there's some kind of communication based on who pointed it, because censorship is a big deal. We definitely want to be very careful when it comes to imposing that. But why it is important that social platforms getting too much accountability, too much power. People consume information there. People educate themselves. People share information. People can change someone's lives, like Adam. So we do need to work on that reasonableness accountability. I just don't know how it's going to be, but my idea is that 230 will be amended, will be played around, and I think we're going to see more aspects to it in the future.
All right, Fernando, and Fernando, please. Yeah, I'm using my jazz fingers.
Yeah, I see them.
I got it.
I see them. Right back at you, buddy. Look, at the end of the day, the power of the press belongs to the owner, not to the writers. So they have a job that they have to fact check. An individual blogger doesn't have to fact check anything. An individual blogger is not the press. So if an individual blogger is writing an opinion about Adam, that's their opinion. If it's on the internet forever, guess what, Adam? You can actually go out and trace these people down and you can shut down their blog, but that's on you. You can scrub this stuff from the internet. There was a case in the New York Times where there was an individual who some woman decided to start attacking him. He was living in England and he wasn't the same person that she was attacking. And he had to go through all these steps of tracking her down and breaking it down and getting her off the internet and shutting down all her blogs. You know, now she runs around on a street corner saying it, but so what? She doesn't have an audience. You know, the issue here is at the end of the day, if you have an opinion, that is not libel or slander, whether you like it or not. It is an opinion. I can say my opinion is that I don't think your hair is great. Guidry's opinion is that your hair, Guidry's opinion is that she loves your hair. I think you should shave your head. That's my opinion. But hey,
no, time out, red flag.
You know,
Adam,
you can't sue me for libel or slander.
Okay.
Yeah, but see, here's what you could do, Adam. You sue them based on using your intellectual property, your trademark, copyright laws, basically, because they're using your image. And we get this all the time at IBM TV. I can't mention these people's names who are wealthy and basically a celebrity without them coming down on, okay, you got to pay for it.
Okay, so just
don't go the libel slander route. Go the, hey, look, you're taking my trademark. I disagree.
You're using it. I disagree entirely, and I'll tell you why. And I agree with Guidry that there should be a reasonable standard.
You agree with Guidry?
I agree with Guidry, and I'll tell you why. By exempting pure opinion under Gertz and Milkovich completely from a defamation lawsuit, you are allowing people to utter disgusting, despicable, and injurious speech on the internet that does not contribute one iota to the marketplace of ideas or to any political speech. This is not Cohen versus California, Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire, or City of Renton versus Playtime Theaters. It's garbage speech. Number two, it causes serious and lasting harm. Okay? Number three, it's on the internet forever, so that harm follows a person for the rest of their lives. And to say that there's no remedy under the guise of, oh, this is free speech because the founders envisioned the marketplace of ideas, it's not political speech, it's garbage. I would overturn Hustler, I would revise Gertz and Milkovich, and I would incorporate a reasonable standard, which Guidry stated, and with which I agree.
Okay, all right. Jeff, I need to hear from you because, I mean, you know, Adam.
And as far as my hair goes, Fernando,
no, seriously.
It is a 10 out of 10.
Okay, because listen.
Thank you, Guidry.
Okay, well, you know, seriously, I'm trying to keep control of this. Jeff, you know what I need from you right now? Jeff, please.
Tell me.
What I need from you right now is this, is that I've got a guy down in Georgia with an LLM telling me and the world about, you know, what we can and we cannot do. Jeff?
Yeah, it horrifies me that he's writing constitutional law textbooks with opinions like this. But
oh, really? Does it really?
That is my
You know what? I should sue you for slander.
There we go.
Yeah, and it was a really bad opinion too.
Now let me.
And Clarence Thomas would disagree with you.
Now let me say as well, opinion is the basis of the First Amendment. What if I go out and say President Joe Biden is a communist, and I list the things that he's for that make me believe that he is that he is a communist. All right, I'm characterizing him in a certain way. Does it mean he is or he isn't? Well, that kind of depends how you define it. But am I slandering him? Well, people in the United States don't typically favor communism, and it has been considered a sort of blacklisting kind of term in the past. But you start censoring people's opinions and say you can't say that someone's a communist because that's your opinion, and it puts them in a bad light. Well,
I'm saying not every single opinion is protected.
Where does that stop? Political speech is all based on opinions. What if I say that I think that President Joe Biden isn't a very good person? Well, that may be another opinion. Maybe it's right, maybe it's not. That's sort of, something only God can tell you.
All right.
Because you're assuming that every opinion is political. That's the problem with your argument.
Okay, look, Adam, Jeff, please. I mean, if I may. Guidry, and then Nick, please. Guidry, I mean, I got a bunch of white guys arguing, and I want to ask this question. When is it unfair, and what can I do when somebody says some stuff online? And then even if I don't do anything, like maybe I'm just collateral internet damage because maybe they're having a bad day. You agree?
So I do not prescribe to the opinion, let's sacrifice someone smaller for a better big in order, to avoid some bigger free speech regulation. I think that right now, I will go back to that reasonableness standard. I think that our legal system is ready to develop it better. It's been livelihood of our legal existence. It's in the Fourth Amendment towards statutory regulations. Why not to revisit it? And especially due to the drastic changes in the fabric of our country. I do not think that it would be social engineering giving certain definitions, examples, making these statements to the defamation, libel, and slander, because due to the current day and the outcome, I think it gives more tools to the people target certain individuals. And I do not think that putting label as opinion automatically prevents you from any liability. I think that we should look into the context, but again, it should be done in a moderate way. And I think
nope, got that, Nick.
Okay. I'm going to help.
No, Nick,
He is completely right.
No, Adam, please, come on, just quit
Okay.
stomping on my
Bill.
Nick, I kept you quiet. I need you now, Nick. Please, what do you
Yeah,
have?
you do, because you low-tech attorneys can't figure this out. How can we stop?
You said low-tech attorneys?
Yeah, very, very, very. It's like low information voters. We have low-tech attorneys. They can't figure this out. How can we stop all the abuse on the internet? How can we get rid of all these people that are causing trouble? I mean, the thing is, it's real simple. It's called the block button, Bill. You just get rid of them. You throw them in the trash can. You don't hear from them again. This isn't that hard. Okay, so all these people on social media saying, "Oh, I'm beaten up. The guy's saying this, guy's saying that." It's taken care of. So what else do you guys want to talk about? I mean,
then watch. I'm going to show you how this low-tech attorney handles this. Okay, right. Okay, so we all have something to talk about, and that is this. It's a question that I have, only because. Okay, all right, Nick. See, fine, right. Let me try this way, because it's you're on mute, but you know what? I mean, Nick, are you always the problem child? Fine. Look, here's the question I think our audience wants to know, and I want to go around the panel. It's essentially this: how can people fight back? I mean, if there's stuff out there, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on the internet, whether it's on Facebook, whether you post it. I mean, how can you fight back when you know something is wrong without having to, just lose your life in the process? Because eventually, I mean, the whole point is to live your life. But if you've got people that are out there that are bad and they're doing this, how do you fight back? Jeff. your voice.
You can run for public office. You can go out and give speeches. You can put up a blog on the internet. I think the solution to opinion speech that you don't like is more speech. Now, I can say it. I'm going to say it about the King County Bar Association on this show right now. I think that they are a bunch of partisan hacks. And I will tell you, when they rated me not qualified, I wasn't surprised, because I wrote them a letter even prior to their rating process and said, I'm not participating in your rating process. You haven't been fair to originalists in the past. Therefore, jump in the lake. I'm not going to submit any documents to you. And so they responded by rating me unqualified. But I'm going to expose that right here on this program and say, nobody out there in Washington should listen to the King County Bar Association. So if there's anybody out there that's listening from the state of Washington, tell the King County Bar Association to jump in the lake. That's
Okay.
what you do. You give more speech, not less.
Adam.
The answer is that they cannot fight back, because they often don't have the resources or the power or the platform that Jeff has, and because this stuff is disseminated worldwide forever on the internet. More broadly, there is room for Jeff's vision of the First Amendment and mine. We should robustly protect political speech, as the court did in Cohen versus California and Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire and in City of Renton versus Playtime Theaters. But to say that all opinions, every single opinion, even opinion that ostensibly and in fact explicitly is not political in nature and is designed to target a single individual, is designed to harm and tear down that individual, that has no literary or artistic value under Miller versus California, and that results in harm, can never be actionable as defamation, is wrong.
Fernando.
Yeah, I'm with Jeff because, again, Adam is wrong. The answer is more speech. And the reason Adam is taking this road
Explain
is
how
because...
more speech solves that harm.
Yeah, listen, you should have started a blog against this person and started digging some stuff up against them. How about you try that?
A lot of people don't have the money to start a blog because they don't have
instead of-
access to the internet.
Instead of whining and getting your panties in a bunch, you find out this person.
How?
What do you mean, how? You have a cell phone? Okay, on your cell
A
phone,
lot
you
of
can start
people
a
who are
blog.
poor don't have access to cell phones or the internet.
Guess what? The poor have access to Wi-Fi and cell phones that the government give them. So you're not poor. You have a cell phone. You can start a blog on this very cell phone, which is nothing more than a pocket-sized computer, and you can start your own blog, start your own investigations into whoever tries
to people in
quote
poverty.
unquote slander you and lie and cause libel against you, and start against them. You can also track these people down. There are programs that you can use that are free apps that'll help you track these blogs down to where they exist, right to the source. Did you do any of that? No. Instead, you whine, you bitch, you moan. Boo hoo
I
hoo, poor
spent
little Adam.
thousands of dollars trying to do that, Fernando.
Boo hoo hoo, little Adam.
Thousands.
So
Fernando.
you don't have to spend thousands of dollars.
Okay.
There are a
Fernando.
lot of free apps and software that you can use.
Okay, Fernando, I get it. Adam, please. I'm going to Nick, and then I'm going to Guidry, and then I'm going to come back to the two of you. But I can't have you guys dominate this program. Nick, seriously, what are you doing? Your earphone, Nick. But listen, literally.
You probably muted me, but that's another story. The thing is, I have to agree with Adam here. I think Fernando and Jeff are way off base. I mean, they're like in outer space. They don't understand the reality of the situation, and more free speech does not create good speech. But we have weapons in our disposal to eliminate some of these people that have bad speech. And I'm throwing one downstairs right now called the Privacy Co-op, but there's other weapons out there also that can eradicate these people off the internet. You can do that. As a matter of fact, you can even get rid of their websites. I know how to do that. If somebody says, I got a website and I think it's radical, I want to eliminate it, I know exactly where to go to eliminate their website. We can make them, how you say, cancel culture. So if you do run into people like that, we can destroy them without going to see Guidry and go to court with Fernando. You can do this independently, confidentially, and we run a whole television show on that. It's tomorrow morning at Cyber Talk on the IBM TV network.
Okay, well, see, listen, when everybody else watches this, just make sure if you don't catch the show tomorrow morning live, you'll catch it on IBM TV on a repeat. But Nick, I cannot even believe that you, for once, came in with a solution. Deidre, are you as shocked as I am that Nick came in with a solution rather than a problem?
Well, I'm here. I'm going to join Nick and Adam.
God,
We're in the majority now. We're in the majority, and those minority guys back. Back to Utah, back to New York.
But I'm very happy to join the camp because that's the only position that makes sense in this particular case. I do not think that bad speech could be addressed or ameliorated with more speech. At this point, we need to look in changed communities, different weapons, different access to the information, and also the harm that it has been doing to our communities, to the people in general, like Adam. I do think that we need to look into private actors, into social platforms who actually operate as advertising hubs, data collection hubs, privacy hubs, and tried to work with them into giving them some kind of accountability into moderating the content. I do not think that it should be done like in extensive way, but I do think that we need to start talking about it, and there is responsibility. And maybe in a case when, like what happens to Adam, there could be a certain institution, a panel of group, a certain sector of that platform that he could talk to get that information completely destroyed or taken down. I do not think that what Fernando is saying, that advocating for Wild Wild West approach makes any sense. I think it's very naive and not popular at all. People, it just would shatter people's life to be able to have to go and hunt those internet trolls or people who want maliciously create damage and destroy the lives.
Yeah.
Jeff got canceled out.
Ducks, and he's on mute. I mean, Jeff ducks and is on mute. I mean, Jeff, please. I mean, work.
He's now writing the minority dissenting opinion.
I know.
In case you don't know,
literally,
him and Fernando can crawl in their corner and write a minority dissenting opinion. Now that the majority has ruled, this case is over, counsel.
Now that Nick's Gestapo techniques have all been adopted by majority rule.
That's what makes America great.
On a search and destroy mission on the internet to disrupt free speech. No, I'm not sure I even know what to say. I think, the question was raised by Jordan Bell. What do you do for all of the little people out there that don't have access to the media? Well, as we all know, under New York Times versus Sullivan, there's a lower standard of review for those cases. And, it's only when you're a public figure that you have to prove reckless disregard for the truth to make a claim for libel. So, there's a lawsuit available to people in that situation. The problem is in many cases, and Fernando alluded to it earlier, is most of the folks we're talking about, or many of them, don't have access to the courts, don't have tens of thousands of dollars to go out and spend on it.
Okay.
Now,
all right. No, go ahead, Jeff. But I mean, we're going to get to after you, Fernando. But Jeff, please. Sorry.
The other issue I see that is still unresolved is opinion. And if I suggest that Adam was dehorned at birth and that he still has a tail, that is either true or it's not. That is not. I can't just, as Deidre said, I can't just label that an opinion and say I think that that's the truth. It either is true or it isn't true, and if it is not true, well, he can sue me for libel if I was reckless with the disregard for the truth of my statement. I can't just say it's my opinion and I'm sort of guessing that, someone is a child of Satan or something, unless we know that it's hyperbole and that someone's being caricatured in a certain way.
Okay. All right. No. I got to get. Wait. I got to get to the two-horned devil with the tail. Adam, you have two horns in the tail, and apparently Jeff thinks you're okay. So, and this is important. And the devil runs in Georgia. and you're in Georgia and you have two horns and a tail. How are you going to combat that? I want to give you an opportunity because I cannot have this on the internet for the rest of your life when people are saying underneath your great hair, there might be two horns.
That blog post shattered my life for 5 years, and neither 80 law review articles, 5 textbooks, or 12 SCOTUS amicus briefs changed a damn person's opinion. And you're going to let people hide behind opinion all the time in every case, despite speech that is on the internet forever, that causes horrific harm and that has zero social value? No, I agree with Guidry completely. And I agree with Guidry because, like in other contexts, she brings decency to the law. She brings a sense of, as citizens, we shouldn't have to be subject to this horrific harm. And I do not believe opinion should be categorically exempted. And I think Gertz and Milkovich were wrongly decided, as was Snyder versus Phelps. I don't think you should be able to stand outside of a church, target the family of someone whose son just died with a sign that says God hates fags. That's not political speech. That's garbage. And I don't support it as a protected part of speech under the First Amendment.
Fernando and then Nick. Fernando, please.
Yeah, actually, the person holding that sign, God hates fag, protected from the freedom of religion because they're citing to the Bible. So as such, they're going to have a right to do it, whether you like it or not, Adam. That's number one. Number two, you have said on this show many a times that you're against the First Amendment and our freedoms and the freedoms guaranteed in the Constitution.
That is not true.
So clearly,
that is a complete. That's not true.
We have plenty of shows that I can pull up.
And you would see that my argument is far more narrow than that.
Can you be quiet so that you can't sue me?
Well, don't mischaracterize what I'm saying.
Because you're too busy teaching.
I'm against the freedoms of the Constitution.
Law.
You are so full of it.
So of course
you must have had another bad day.
I got it.
Can you just mute him?
Adam, I got it. Fernando, I got it. Okay.
No, because of course he's gonna.
Oh, well, you mischaracterized me.
With Guidry, who comes from a Iron Curtain country where they don't believe in freedom of speech.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
She wants to set up panels just like in that Iron Curtain country. The end result here is the following. There have to be distinctions made between who is a public figure and who is a private figure because the standards are different. The next thing is, in all of these cases, and I've had a bunch of them, when it comes to proving that the false statement to be purported as fact, most of these cases fall apart. Because your client never, ever, ever tells you something like, oh, I forgot to tell you, I was a world champion bodybuilder, and I used to hang out with Lou Ferrigno and all these guys. Oh, yeah, so that made me a public figure at one point? Yeah, dude. Oh, and you go through mountains of depositions to find out that the quote-unquote third parties that all these statements were published to come out and say, that never happened. That wasn't said that way. You know, so these cases fall apart.
Okay, Nick, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna translate for Fernando. His cases fall apart, okay? Because he has poor lawyering in his cases, he has bad clients, and he produces anecdotal evidence, doesn't mean it's true for everybody. So I have to agree with Adam here. Here's the thing, okay? When it comes to freedom of speech, there's got to be limits. And for you First Amendment people like Jeff, you got to think about our right to a trial in front of a jury. What Adam and we need to do is drag these people to court and let the jury decide whether or not damages should be imposed. And find a good lawyer. Don't let Fernando spin you around in circles. Out the door you go, and he's not going to handle the case. Find a good lawyer.
Actually, the cases are lost by bad clients.
Counselor, I have the floor now. You know.
Well, you're lying.
Okay. No, thing is, I have the floor. Okay. I mean, Adam interrupts you. You complain and you whine.
Oh, you like to interrupt now too?
No,
huh?
Okay. Fernando, you're wrong. Adam, stop. Nick, you do have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Denmaster. Because the thing is, here's the real problem. This is what reason Adam is right and the majority is right on this. Okay, we can't let freedom of speech control and dictate the realities that are out there when it's false, misleading, horrible, bad, and we need to bring back our juries to make that decision, not let judges and the internet make the decisions for us, Counselor, and that's the reason we're the majority and you guys lose.
No, thank you, Nick. Guidry, and then Jeff, you're up, because I got my two other guys that I don't know what to do with yet. Guidry, please.
So I think that Fernando applied way too narrow test when applying First Amendment to the defamation, slander, and libel, we need to look at the consequences as well. We need to look at micro-targeting, harassment. Those are very, very serious things, and those are not protected under the Constitution. And that's in this particular place, the more speech does not ameliorate or fix the bad speech. There has to be certain actions done, and we cannot keep throwing that First Amendment as everything is allowed or out of jail card. I came from Soviet Union country, but it's been 20, 30 years since then, and those countries do have certain rules and regulations and protect the people who are maliciously targeted by certain trolls and institutions. In this particular case, Fernando, we are talking about, at this point, we should not be protecting multi-billion owning companies and institutions. We should finally focus on our own people and protect simple people who, in fact, do need that protection.
Right, because Deidre, they don't know. I mean, they're out there in the world, this wilderness that is the internet and everything else. Now, Jeff, please, I mean, is there any protection for the unknowing, naive person that just gets on? They just think they're doing something, and suddenly their lives are ruined. Jeff?
Well, certainly. I mean, you have to be able to show that someone made a demonstrably false or misleading statement about you. It has to have been published, and I believe that includes publishing it on the internet. And you have to be able to show that you were actually damaged by it in some demonstrable way, unless it's slander per se and fits one of the categories that both Fernando and I talked about earlier. If you can prove those things, then you don't have a right to slander someone by that definition under the First Amendment. Where I fundamentally disagree with Adam, I agree with that the three cases that he cited were correctly decided, and he would overturn them, saying that there are certain opinions that are just valueless. And I don't want Adam or anyone else to be heading up the Ministry of Truth in the United States.
Wow.
That's Orwellian. And I think the idea, having some speech czar deciding what opinions are valuable and what opinions are not valuable is dangerous. So,
and a mischaracterization of my position.
No, Adam. Sometimes you just step in your own way, because I was going to come to you anyway. But Jeff, hilarious. Now, Adam, I simply wanted to ask you this, because we are getting at that time of the hour. And Adam, I do not need an appeal brief right now, because Nick is breathing over my shoulder.
Well,
no, Ministry of Truth.
Okay, so Fernando.
No, Adam, I'm not done. I mean, are you really going to censor what I can and cannot say? Are you going to censor who I can and cannot put on the Lawyers Den? I mean, according to Jeff, that's what you want. Adam.
Okay, that is a complete mischaracterization, and Jeff's position is a complete mischaracterization, and it's really sad. What I would say is that in narrow circumstances, you could have a civil remedy in a civil court for money damages. That's it. No Ministry of Truth, no censorship. And Fernando's statement that I'm against the freedoms of the Constitution and against the First Amendment is so demonstrably false that it should be slander per se, because quite frankly, I've said on this program many times, I agree with Brandon, I agree with Cohen, I agree with Chaplinsky, I agree with all of the First Amendment jurisprudence, but I do believe in narrow limits, and there's nothing wrong with that because it promotes a recovery at law for harms that are real and sustainable.
No, Adam, slander per se.
I mean, speaking of the Ministry of Truth, I'm the one who's always getting cut off here. I'm the one who's always getting censored. And you guys hurl that accusation at me? I mean, the passive aggressiveness is appalling.
I have to concur with Adam.
Filibuster, Adam.
And I'll also tell you this.
I'm not filibustering, Jeff.
Okay. I agree with Adam, but also I want to make another note. In my industry, in financial services, you cannot make false and misleading statements. Okay, you get sued, and you do not get a get out of jail free card in securities, insurance, and investments. Why we give a pass to regular people out there is beyond the pale. And yes, Jeff, if you don't like it, there shall be a Ministry of Truth, because if you don't have that, you have a sea of lies. And I don't want to sit and
lives ruin.
Lies ruin lives.
Okay,
so Adam is right. The majority wins here. You guys go back to
No,
your
no, no,
holes
no,
here.
no, no, no. See, Nick, I mean, if I had thrown you the ball because I was going to close things up, you know, you would have had the last statement. But yeah, you know, you bigfooted me. So what I get to do now is for the closing, and we all know what the closing is. It's like, hey, we love everybody. Thank you for showing up and all this other stuff. So, Fernando, can you do the close? Because Nick, I think, is just too mad. Adam's just too disgruntled. Deidre, I don't know that the world can handle so much more sensibility. And Jeff, thank God you are defending the Constitution, because more speech is the answer to hate speech. Fernando, can you land this plane, please?
Sure. Jeff is right. Nick is crazy. Thanks to everybody for coming in and watching the show, and we'll see you tomorrow.
And Deidre goes, let's go look at something that took place 40 years ago. Who cares? Okay, that